You should get 5 minutes and I'll be the timekeeper.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll hold my hand up when there's 1 minute left.
Okay, great. Thanks. Hi, my name is Bruce Deutsch. I'm a member of the City Council. I was appointed to the City Council in June of last year. Since then, I've been active and taking my retired time, putting in on work throughout the day. I work on the Economic Development and Tourism Committee, and I'm the chair of that. I'm also the chair of the Airport Committee. I'm here tonight to make my case that I believe that the skills and the experience and everything that I've brought to the council is definitely worth considering and continuing. So I'm going to try and make my case for that tonight. A little bit about myself. I grew up in the Midwest, about 50 miles northwest of Chicago, in a small little farm town. The class had about 74 people in it. We took in 3 towns. From there, I fell in love with government and was able to get a Navy scholarship to the University of Notre Dame, where I got a Bachelor of Arts in Government. And so I started my passion for government and service there. With the Navy, I ended up spending 22 years in the Navy, 6 years on active duty, and 16 in the reserves. During that time, I was fortunate to be able to manage 2 extraordinary projects on the cutting edge of technology, and won a Navy Commendation Medal for the second, the highest medal you can get for a non-combat action. After the Navy and during the time when I was in the reserves, I spent about 10 years as a defense consultant living in the DC area. Then I moved down to the Northwest to find some mountains, like I seem to want to do in life, find mountains like there are here. And I ended up spending about 10 years working as a private consultant, helping companies, small businesses, transfer to digital online web and databases. So I spent basically my whole life working with technology. My first computer programming was in 1972 on a 6-ton IBM 360 with punch cards. And ever since then, I've been helping the Navy and helping corporations transfer over to the digital world. The reason I bring this up is because those are over the years that I've done these things and worked these projects, I believe I've developed a process that when I come into a new situation, I understand how to look at the challenges and the opportunities and how to take the long view and work with a lot of different people over time. It's the exact same thing that this city needs right now, because what most people don't realize when they talk about city government and city council, city manager, is that when it comes down to the actual people allowed to work on things, it's a tiny little staff. If you're talking about decision makers in City Hall, it's a couple of few people. And so what that means is that most of the work that's going to get done with the City Council is going to get done by people working through the committees. And that's where the City Council really gets its action done, is because through the committees, working with the City Council, City Manager, etc., we're able to do things like, for instance, do the first set of water rates in a water rate study since 1994. We were able to come up with a Prop 218 process to put in garbage rates that were able to bring down the surplus that existed. All those things happened because a group of people met for hours and hours and hours and listened to hours and hours and hours of talk, and then sat and put down their ego and tried to learn as much as they can and work together. And that's what I've done throughout my whole life, was try and find ways of bringing people together who have the wisdom to make things happen and supporting them in the process. So when I look at the city, the big thing that I'm struck by is the fact that from the days when the railroads and the mills existed, we really haven't recovered and responded to the fact that they're gone yet. We've gone for decades kind of getting by and assuming that 1,500 is a pretty good level for our population. But when I came in with my experience and looked at the city, I realized that the biggest problem we had is that we don't have enough population in order to support the customers that you want to have coming in. Just give jobs to high school students that graduated and come back in. We aren't able to support that because we're about a third of the size we once were when we were a major city, and when Siskiyou County looked at Dunsmuir as the leading light. I want to bring that back, and I think we have the ability to do it because we have 8 lanes of traffic ridden across all of San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and Sacramento. We have people down there that are being forced out by rents, being forced out by living in an environment where you spend 2 hours going to work in 8 lanes of traffic. There's a whole group of people, young millennial entrepreneurs, that I believe we can move to Dunsmuir and start a whole new generation for the city. Something to finally, after all these decades, to to replace the idea that the railroads and the mills were once the center.
1 minute left.
Great, thanks. So the big thing I really want to get across here is that people think that being a city councilor is sitting in a room once a month, twice a month, getting a packet and making decisions. That would be great if we were a city that had a large staff and we had all kinds of our problems solved. We don't. We're a city that's struggling to survive. That means that a councilor has to be willing to put in the time, the energy, the passion, to open themselves up to all the things that are involved in being a city councilor. And I'm retired. I need something to be passionate about. Dave Keisler found me and said, you know, you're sitting over there with all this experience. Let's get out and use it. And so I'd like your vote to be able to continue to serve you and to continue to help make Dunsmuir's best days still ahead. Thank you.